Shalom to you, dear brothers and sisters. We are continuing our teaching in the book of Revelation. We learned about how Yeshua comes down from heaven and he overcomes the Antichrist and his armies. I want to speak today about how the saints return back to the earth together with Yeshua when he comes down out of heaven. There are a number of places that speak about this. The first is in Zachariah, chapter 14, and verse 5. I want to remind you of the context. It's the last battle. Jerusalem that is conquered by the Antichrist and his armies. That's in verses 1 and 2. And in verse 3, we read about Yeshua who comes out of heaven, and he comes down to fight and to have vengeance on the Mount of Olives, the mountain that is opened up, and the people who are in Jerusalem who flee through this valley that is opened up, that doesn't exist today. In the end of verse 5, it says, "Then the Lord my God will come, and all the holy ones with him." All the holy ones with him. It's clear that, of course, the angels will come with him, the holy angels. But here it says all the holy ones. So not only the angels that are holy, but all the saints. I want to strengthen it with a different passage. Revelation chapter 17, verse 14. You know, the context here is about this battle against the Antichrist with the angels that are with him, and they make the kings that are with him, and they combine their armies together and their power. So from chapter 17 of Revelation, you're going to read verses 13 and 14. These have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. And these will wage war against the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, because he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And those who are with him are called the chosen and the faithful. So here again, the context is this war. But here we read that the Lamb, Yeshua, that he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. Together with him are those who are called the chosen and faithful. These are the believers, as we've already learned. These are not the angels. They are those who remain faithful to the end. They are the ones who come with Yeshua. And in Colossians chapter 3, verse 4, we have another passage that speaks about this. Colossians 3:4. It says, "And when Yeshua, who is our life, is revealed, then you also will be revealed with him in glory." So when Yeshua will come and be revealed from heaven, also we will be revealed with him in glory. These are the passages that I chose to share with you today. Something additional that is encouraging to know and to remember and to internalize is that we are the ones who overcome. We're the victors. When we come with Yeshua, it's at the end of this period of this 7 years of the Antichrist. At that time, when the Antichrist and his forces are going wild and believers are being persecuted and killed and being murdered and slaughtered, being martyred for their faith. So it looks, when you look at it, it looks like, wow, it's terrible, it's hard and difficult. In this world, when they kill you, you think that's the end of the story. But that's not the way it is from our eternal perspective of heaven, or rather the opposite. So come with me to Revelation chapter 12. And here again, we have the context of this battle, this huge battle that it is currently happening in the unseen world, in the second heavens. I want to read to you Revelation 12, verse 7. "And there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels waging war with the dragon." That dragon is Satan. And the Satan and his angels, his demons, waged war. And they were not strong enough, and there was no longer place found for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, the serpent of old, who is called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. So the time will come when Michael will lead the armies of heaven, and there's a battle in the unseen world. And Satan, who is today in the second heavens, in the heavenly places, he's not in hell, but no, he's in that place. And we can find it also in Ephesians chapter 6 and other places. And he is cast down by Michael and the angelic armies down to this earth, and he's very angry because he knows his time is short. And I want to continue to read from verse 10. And then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Messiah have come. For the accuser of our brethren has been thrown down. He accuses them before God day and night. So Satan can no longer accuse us in heaven while Yeshua is advocating for us, speaking on our behalf. He says, I paid the price for them. And here's the verse that's important for us today. Verse 11. And they overcame him because of the blood of the Lamb. And they overcame him because of the blood of the Lamb and because of the word of their testimony. And they do not love their life even when faced with death. These three things are mentioned here. They determine our victory. What are these things? First one, by the blood of the Lamb. By the blood of the sacrifice of Yeshua, that he sacrificed himself for us. He poured out his blood for us. The blood symbolizes life, according to the book of Leviticus. The life of the flesh is in the blood. And when the blood is poured out, the life is poured out. Yeshua poured out his blood for us on the cross. He sacrificed his life for us. And so when we confess our sins, like it says in 1 John chapter 1, 1 John 1, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So when we confess our sins, the strongest weapon that Satan has is that accusation is taken away from him. We overcome him by the blood of Yeshua that he gave for us. And because of our testimony, when we're ready to say, I believe in Yeshua, it's really important. Look at Luke chapter 12. Chapter 12. Luke 12 and verse 8. And I say to you, everyone who confesses me before men, the Son of Man will confess him also before the angels of God. But he who denies me before men will be denied before the angels of God. So whoever confesses, maybe you're in your workplace, or in your army, or in your neighborhood, wherever you'll be, or in school, and high school, or university, we confess, yes, I believe in Yeshua. If you have the opportunity. Yes, I believe in Yeshua the Messiah. Whoever will confess me before men, Yeshua says, he will also confess them. His name will be brought before the angels of God. We need the help and service of the angels of God. In Hebrews chapter 1 it says that they are sent to serve us, the saints, those who are inheriting the kingdom. So we need them, the angels. But not only that, take a look in Matthew chapter 24, the same famous chapter about the end times. There we read about these lists of names that the angels will receive in order to collect the saints, the believers. Matthew chapter 24, verse 31, it says, and he will send forth his angels with a great trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the sky, one end of the sky to the other. So there'll be a time when God will be sending his angels to gather all the believers, all the elect, from the four corners of the earth. Who were these elect to be collected? Those who did not deny. They stood and they said, I believe in Yeshua. I know in our society it's not acceptable today. It's not acceptable in the people of Israel after 2,000 years of all this history that began with persecution of Yeshua and his disciples in Jerusalem, even before there was an Inquisition, before there were pogroms, before there was a Catholic Church. Already then, we were persecuted, we the Messianic Jews, by our brothers. Just like Jeremiah was persecuted by, and Elijah was persecuted by his own people, and Ahab and Jezebel persecuted Elijah. Same way Yeshua. Who betrayed Yeshua? It was Judah, the Jewish man from the people of Israel. His name was Judah. He's the one who betrayed Yeshua. We were betrayed by our brothers. And until today, it's the same way. We are rejected, we are pushed to the side, but it's a price we have to pay in order to follow after the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel, a God who's alive and well. And he is not a God of religion. He is not our God. The God of Israel is different. So, we see that the time will come when God will send his angels to gather those who did not deny Yeshua. And the last thing we read in Revelation chapter 12 is that they don't love their souls until the end. These are those who are ready to die for their faith, to even pay with their life for their faith. In Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 to 27. We read some more there. Matthew 16, 24 to 27. Then Yeshua said to his disciples, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. When it says to take up his cross, I need to explain to the Israelis among us that the cross was the altar that Yeshua sacrificed himself on. He had to be called to be ready to give. We even today need to be called to give up our lives, our time, ourselves on an altar. So whoever takes up his cross and follow me, whoever wishes to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Talking about physical death on this altar. And many believers in history have paid with their lives for their faith. Stephen was one of them. In Jerusalem, he was judged out in the fields. Those who come with Yeshua in the book of Revelation, those who had paid with their lives on their faith, they weren't ready to receive the mark of the Antichrist, and they didn't have the opportunity to buy or to eat or to sell. It was taken from them, and they were ready to die for their faith, and they would not compromise. So yes, we are the ones who overcome, who come with Yeshua when he comes down out of heaven. We overcome them because of what he did for us, because we hold on to what he did for us. I want to conclude with Revelation chapter 13, verses 9 and 10. If anyone has an ear to hear, let him hear. If anyone is destined for captivity, to captivity he goes. If anyone kills with the sword he must be killed. Here's the perseverance of the faith of the saints. So we see in the end, those who will be killed, those who were persecuting the believers, they themselves will be killed and persecuted. So we have a good hope. There is a God who is a righteous judge, and he will do this. So we're waiting for the day when we will return with Yeshua. And in the coming days, we'll see what else. What else is going to happen after that? I wish you a blessed day, dear brothers and sisters. Shalom.